Few ecosystems out there are growing faster than Solana's, and if we move fast, we can catch the 4 coins that have been asleep for over a year now and are starting to wake up and show the first signs of monumental growth. So guys, hit the like button and let's get into today's video. Now, first of all, I want to bring our attention across to this chart. Now on the top, we've got Ethereum, the biggest layer 1 out there. On the bottom, we've got Solana. Now, as we look at the top and the bottom, you'll be like, well, this looks like a very similar chart. You're right. On top, in fact, we have Ethereum back from 2018 bull market. And on the bottom, we've got Solana in the last bull market. Why on earth would I show you this? Well, if we think about what happened next for Ethereum, then you will see that we moved into the next bull market and we saw from the top of that first bull market in 2018 to the next one, 242% growth. Now, if we were to say the same would happen potentially for Solana, and obviously guys, this is a highly speculative call, but a 2.4x or 240% move from there would take us up to a whopping $892. Let's just call it $900. Now, if Solana's ecosystem continues to grow and sees the growth that we think it's going to see, then it's going to be very exciting. Now, what drivers are behind Solana's ecosystem growth right now? Now, after a very bleak bear market for Solana, we can see that it is woken back up. Things are starting to look very good for Solana. And what was the problem with Solana? Well, in the past, we saw lots of days where it was offline and lots of people were like, oh yeah, it doesn't work. However, let me remind you, back in the days of the rise of Microsoft and various other tech giants, lots of those companies spent lots of time offline as well, and that's enabling them to fix their issues. Solana also then got tied up with SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, and when FTX went down, it pulled Solana with it, leaving a very bleak and sad-looking Solana, leaving the trolls out there telling everyone that Solana was crap and it wasn't going anywhere, only to see it basically getting an 8, nearly a 9x already from those lows that we saw back in December of last year. Now, what is causing the growth? Solana's grown because of a number of key partnerships. It's now back online and a much more reliable ecosystem. It's got a huge amount of developers who are choosing to build on top of Solana because it has the very best, highest speeds out there, with block creation taking around 400 milliseconds. Now, this combined with its ultra low cost, Solana is an ecosystem that's being chosen for GameFi, being chosen for DeFi, and all sorts of other bits and pieces. Now, in the last bull run, we saw a growth in Ethereum and other coins associated with the ecosystem in Ethereum. So what have I done? I've chosen 4 coins on Solana that we need to be aware of. The first one of which is Bonfida. Now, a lot of these coins have sort of slightly smaller market caps. This one here around $37 million. Now, I don't like to bring you so much the kind of $500K to $1 million market caps, because while they might see, potential for incredible growth, there's a very good chance that they're not going to see anything happen at all. However, Bonfida is a very interesting platform. It provides fast and reliable data analytics for the Solana ecosystem, which, as you know, judging by what I'd cover on my channel most of the time, I am very into. This, obviously, as we see growth in the Solana ecosystem and more people trading within the ecosystem, you're going to see a lot of people requiring various different analytics and things like that from Solana. Now, what I'm most excited about, which we'll come to in a moment, is in fact the chart. As we come down through, you can see various different bits and pieces going on. The feeder token here with a 24-hour volume of $59 million with a market cap of $37 million. Now, you might be new to all this, but that is a very interesting, exciting thing, because the volume suggests that this coin is getting huge amounts of trading volume, which is obviously what the volume is. I hope you're sticking with this one, because it's going to be a good one. And the market cap is at $37.7 million, which means the market cap is smaller than the volume. And judging by the fact that we've had an extremely quiet and uninteresting year, something is coming online for Bonfida, and that's what we are starting to pay attention to. As you know, mainly it's because Solana is starting to build, but that's a very exciting step for us. So jumping across, we can see the Bonfida is in fact up 17% today. Does that make it an attractive buy right this second? Well, let's have a look at where Bonfida was back in the last bull market. You can see that from those tops that we saw back on February the 12th, 22, we are still waiting to get back up there, which would be sort of on around an 11x. Now, Bonfida launched at a pretty bad time in that it basically missed the bull market and then from there sort of struggled into this kind of crypto winter. Now, what you want to see potentially, why people think that this looks like a dead coin or whatever, and why they're wrong most of the time, is this, okay? A dead coin will tend to just sort of slide slower and slower and eventually just shrivel away to nothing. However, what we are really liking to see, and is a very good confidence booster, is the fact that we're starting to see it wake up here. Where can we see this go in the future? Well, guys, it's anyone's guess, okay? If we see Solana's ecosystem growing by about 2.4x on top of this, then you never know whether we can see a 2x from previous all-time highs, which would be around a 20x for Bonfida, perhaps even going above and beyond that. Who knows? Now, rattling along to our next step, finance. Now, I want to talk about something key. I like to bring you coins that perhaps are kind of starting to wake up, not fully woken up, and not completely dormant. Because a problem with a lot of dormant coins, they don't necessarily guarantee that they're going to wake up. But when we start to see the volumes flooding back into the market, that's where we see some positive energy. Okay, market cap here, Step Finance, sat at $10 million, a little bit smaller, but volume all the way up 72% in the last day. And today we're having a bit of growth going on with regards to Step Finance. Now, again, this is another data and analytics platform being used for Solana, and something that I've started to use myself as well now that I understand where things are going. Now, what is very important about where we see the future growth of Solana is that of the NFT market. Now, in the last bull market, what caused predominantly the biggest gains at the end of the bull run for Ethereum was the rise of the NFT markets. OpenSea was an NFT marketplace and it absolutely blew up. However, because of insane gas fees, where maybe you're buying an NFT that's like 400, 500 bucks, eventually people start to lose like most of their money to gas fees that were like nearly the same price as the NFT or maybe even more. Made it incredibly difficult. Therefore, we're now starting to see a migration of NFT creation. We'll talk about another project in a moment. It's very key for that. And as we see it, like products around analytics and stuff that feature NFTs and things like that could be very key indeed. Also, I think that that particular NFT part is going to be big, fueling the Solana ecosystem. Very, very exciting. Okay, so this again, because of the charts, I'm very excited to see what's happening here. Step Finance, again, let's have a little zoom out of where Step Finance was and where Step Finance currently is. Now, again, you've got some sort of horrific, like ICP looking kind of start to all this. So I'm not going to pay too much attention to that kind of original spike, but you would say from this, where we reached to around $1.6 in the past, obviously after that kind of like first dip and push here that we saw around September 2021, we then just gone into what you can barely see on this chart as like a flat line, looking like a dead project. You know, this is very like indicative. You have kind of like a slow decline and suddenly like bear market bottom, which happened last year. FTX, like you can see how hard it hit Solana. It hit the Solana ecosystem even harder. We've now been through a bleak bear market. And now, guys, look, literally since this autumn, we've been kind of waking up. But what I want to focus on this project, and yeah, while we might have missed this pump here, is we are now arriving into a buy zone. Okay, you can see this particular area through here, and this is how you can identify a buy zone. You can see these particularly big candles here showing big buying pressure coming from a little bit of sideways action. We then come back down into this green box and we get wicked up very quickly. Look where we are right this second. The last time we wicked up out of this green box, we saw a push of around 44%, 45%. Who knows? Maybe we see that again, especially if we see Bitcoin pushing on further. Now, from current levels back towards that previous high that we saw there, then you're looking somewhere at something like a 38 to 39x. Couldn't it happen? Absolutely, guys. Absolutely no reason why not. Remember, lots of these charts really flattened out because of what happened to FTX and what happened to the Solana ecosystem. Solana got hammered, and all of those smaller projects built on Solana also got absolutely wrecked because of it. But if they're able to survive, they will come back in a strong and exciting way. Step Finance, interesting opportunity there. Now, on to the next one, which I've covered more recently, and it is having a very strong year already, and that is Orca, decentralized exchange. Now, I keep telling you this as we go through this year, that the rise of the decentralized exchanges is getting more and more apparent as we see more and more issues with likes of Coinbase and various others. Because of various clampdowns on governments, you're going to see more people using decentralized exchanges, mainly because people want to stay away from the potentials of FTX and all those sort of previous dramas that happened. Therefore, Orca I see is like the Uniswap of the Solana ecosystem. Okay, Orca currently with a market cap of 266 million. You can see that it is up around 13x in the last year. But remember, that 1 year price is taking into account what has been basically going on since basically the FTX crash, which was about a year ago. Now, as you can see, Orca is a trading platform, much like Uniswap. And here you can see all the transactions and stuff that get tracked. Been buying a little bit of Crown token as well, which has been doing quite well since I talked about it on a video the other day about like GameFi and various small cap GameFi projects. Since then, I think Crown is up about 60-70%, which is great to see. Now, it's very simple to understand how Orca does well or doesn't do well. If the Solana ecosystem continues to grow, then you're going to see a lot of DEXs, particularly Orca, built on the Solana ecosystem, doing very well. Now you can see here, trading is not supported in your country or region because I'm in the UK. However, using a NordVPN, which is linked down below in the description, you can get 4 months free NordVPN. And then after that, it's like $2.88 per month, but $2.88 per month plus the 4 months free. And that enables me to do this. So I can select myself in a different country that maybe allows me to use a decentralized exchange, such as jumping into Belgium. I can then go back to Orca, I can refresh, and then you'll see that I now have access to using this particular trading exchange, which is obviously very easy and very cool. So what about Orca? Well, Orca, as you can see, guys, has woken up, and it's woken up in a big way. And yes, you may have missed out on some of the biggest gaining opportunities that have happened on Orca, but I still want to cover it because in the last few days, while we've seen Bitcoin take a dip and the Solana ecosystem take a dip, we've seen Orca pulling back as well. I still believe that Bitcoin is going to see another leg up to around 48K. Could be wrong, so do your own research. But this is a nice thing to see. We start to see it bottom out. You get that good pullback into this area. We're starting to see a bit of strength. Now, these wicks towards the downside, like the thin bits at the bottom, show buying pressure. If we see this continue to see a bit of growth from $266 million market cap, if we look at Uniswaps at the top of the last bull market, we'll see a $22.2 billion. Now, that's not necessarily saying that Solana is going to reach that kind of market cap as Ethereum and that Orca can necessarily reach what Uniswap can, but you can see the potential on offer here if you're comparing this ecosystem and saying that the potential for getting up here $22 billion on a $200 million market cap is basically 100x. So let's wait and see whether or not that's going to be possible. I would be far more reserved, but still looking towards a 40 to 50x. Now onto the last one. Now I've talked about this and why NFTs on Solana are such a big thing. And you're like, well, the NFT market was last time. It doesn't really happen. Guys, when you get towards the top of a bull market, when you got like 16, 17, 18-year-old kids who've just made themselves like 500K or $5 million or whatever, they're all like running and they're out there trying to fill their like dopamine void as the crypto markets crash. And they're going out there buying like crazy NFT projects that like start at like $4 and then go up to like $4 million a week later. Anything associated with that NFT market are going to be absolutely flying around this period of time. That's why I'm interested in a MEXC, where you can launch and scale NFT projects on Solana. Now, in the past, we've talked about this. Now we can see currently 180,000 collections, currently got a load of NFTs minted, and they're going to be continuing to do that. Creator revenue, $1.1 billion. That's really, really exciting, okay? Lots of creators will start flooding to this as a place to build their NFT collections. Soon we could see like mass adoption of the NFTs and all sorts of different bits and pieces like that, which is where MEXC comes in and is an exciting one for that reason. Now coming across to CoinGecko, for some reason I couldn't find the market cap on CoinMarketCap, $82 million market cap here. So knowing now what we've got in terms of a market cap, let's have a look at the charts. Again, guys, we've got a very interesting looking chart that started looking horrific, went through a very interesting, very uninteresting, quiet like period where it looked like a dead coin to then suddenly starting to wake up again, okay? Now, obviously, we all would have loved to have get into these kind of charts down here like a month ago or so. Since then, we've seen a good bit of growth, but actually it's not necessarily huge. We've seen nearly a 3x in a short space of time, but small market cap still. If Solana continues to push higher, I think we could well see Solana going beyond $100 before we see any significant pullback in the market. Again, guys, not financial advice, go and do your research, but I think we got very exciting potential upside here for this particular coin. So definitely one I'm looking into. Again, you can see we've been spiking towards the upside. We're getting a bit of rejection here, so maybe we have a pullback. And if we're getting down to around the 17 to 18 cents, then maybe it's worth having a cheeky limit order buy in there, which is what I might do. Obviously, you need to go and see whether or not this is a coin that you're interested in. Now, you probably realized by now that learning about crypto is a really very tough job. There's so much information you need to know. And people have been reaching out to me regularly, asking me for one-on-one tutorials and one-on-one calls and all that stuff, which I would love to do. But unfortunately, I don't have hundreds of hours a week to be able to cater for all those individuals. Therefore, I have now created a VIP league along with a business partner, Peter Voogd, who in the last bull market made 7 figures. This is going to be a membership available for people who are really trying to get the next level in the crypto markets. Each week, we'll be doing group calls, going through various different markets. Every coin I'll be buying and selling will be shared in that group. There'll be various elite members of the crypto community and various influencers joining us for guest speaker calls and all sorts of other bits and pieces. So if you want someone to basically completely hold your hand through this whole bull market, this is literally what the VIP League is offering, and it's all available through the link down below in the description for cryptoleague.vip. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Hit the like button, subscribe. See you tomorrow with another video. Bye-bye.